Hey, hi. Welcome to another session on Git's usage like a DevOps engineer. We all know that Git is a version control system. That means every time you make a change, all those changes are going to be captured by something called as commits. Each and every commit will have a commit ID. Now, you are going to make a lot of changes. What if you land into a situation where you want to go back to the previous state? What if you land into a situation where you want to erase the history and go back to the previous state? And that is something one of the most commonly used tasks by a developer or a DevOps engineer. If you know these shortcuts as a DevOps engineer, you can save a lot of time. So what is the difference between Git reset versus Git checkout is something I'm going to teach you in today's session. Today's agenda is very simple. How can we see the list of commits, or what is the Git history? That means how many commits are there on my commit history. How do you see that? And how can you go back to the previous commit, and how to come back to the existing commit, and how to erase the Git history is something that I'm going to teach you, and it's going to be very interesting. So Git reset versus Git checkout is one of the most commonly asked interview question in most of the DevOps interview questions. So this is concept, an important concept that I'm going to teach you with some example. So let's assume you're having a Git branch, and that branch is, and let's assume you are having a repository on Git, and right now for the sake of demonstration I have taken a branch whose name is master. Fine. Now this is having 5 commits: commit 0, 1, 2, 4, 5. That means I have 5 commits. That means I have 5 changes that are done on the top of my master branch. Now you have done some changes on commit 002. Let's assume you made some changes on the script and it is working fine. And this commit 002 doesn't mean that you made one change. It can be 10 changes, 20 changes on 30 files. Anything is fine. Okay. But all those changes you are representing with one commit. Now you added some changes on the top of commit 002 and you formed a commit 003 and it is also working fine. Now for the same script, you added some more changes and you went back to commit 004. Right now your head is here. That means when someone clones your repository, whatever the changes that are, whatever the head, wherever your head of your repository is there, it will be the one that is going to show you the changes. On Git, head is nothing but where your pointer of the Git is residing. Now, after doing some analysis, you understood the commit 004 is invalid and it is breaking your changes. So you want to go back to the previous state, like commit 002. How can you go back to the previous commit? Okay, this is one step. Okay, that means how can you switch from X commit to Y commit? And another situation is, and if you feel that commit 002 is something that you want and you want to erase this Git history, okay, I do not want this. How can you go back to the previous commit by erasing all the history? How can you do that? Is something that I'm going to teach you with a detailed note. So let me try to go there and try to explain you with some examples. So that is the concept for today. Let's get there. I'm on my Git repository. For example, I'm making some changes. Now what I would like to do is, this is a Terraform repository. The name of the repository is Terraform. So I would like to call it as resource.tf. Okay, now I have Terraform 000 or 001, 001, 001. Now I'm gonna update. Okay, I made some changes. I'm gonna say this as, so I would like to say it as 001. All right, now I'm gonna make one more changes. So it says resource.tf. All right, so what is the name of the file? Okay, this is the commit that I have given. Next, I would like to update my provider of my Terraform. Okay, if you don't know Terraform, that's totally fine. Assume that you're doing some changes. Now I'm gonna mark it as, I'm gonna mark this as 002. Done. Now you're gonna make one more commit, and this time you're going back to the previous commit 003, 003, and 003. And since visually to clearly show you the difference between them, I'm trying to mark them as 003, 004, but they can be any sort of changes. Now I'm trying to make one more change. Now I want to go back to 004, 004. So assume you are having 10 files and everywhere you are updating the provider version. Okay, so how are you going to handle it? So now this time you're going back to 004, and I also want to go back to, okay, I also want to update my 005. That means I have made 5 commits for 5 different versions. Okay, so this time I'm going to make it as 005. Perfect. Now, where is your head right now? Or how many commits you have made? How can you see that? And if you want to see that, the simple thing that you can do is you can use a command called as git log. Okay, that is going to show you the list of all the commits that were made so far. Can you see this? These are the commits that were made, and every commit is a 40 character hash, and this is not represented as commit ID, and each and every commit ID is not called as commit ID. Instead, you call it as a hash. Okay, it is a 40 character ID, and the first 7 characters represents the commit ID. Now, right now your head, okay, which is nothing but the pointer of your git is on the top of this. That means it is on the top of 005. Okay, 00. I want to go back to this previous state. How can you do that? And also, this is going to show you the list of all the commits that are happened. For example, if you're having 100 commits, it's going to show you all the 100 commits. Sometimes it will be overwhelming. But if you don't want those many changes to be shown, if you are interested about what are the last 3 changes or last 4 changes, you can also mention that saying hyphen and 4. That means it is going to show you only the last 4 commits history. Okay, so this is one thing. And if you also want to know what are the changes that are made by it, okay, you can also do this by running the same command. Okay, you can say hyphen stat -p. That means along with the last 4 commits, it is also going to show you what files were changed. Let me try to show you that. Can you see this? And on this particular commit, the values that were changed were 005 to 005 and 004 to 005. Okay, and on this particular commit 004, it says it's changed to 004 and it changed to 004 and this changed to 004. And if you want to see what are the commits that were made along with the changes that were made, picture with representation, if you want to see, you can add -stat -p. Okay, this tells you without even going into the GitHub, you can also see the things locally. Even in the GitHub, these are the commands that are executed in the back. All right, now the most important thing, how can I go back to the previous commit? Okay, so if you just want to go to the previous commit, like, okay, you can use head -1. But if you want to go back to a previous commit, all you need to do is, for example, git log -n4 or 5. It tells you the last 5 commits. Now I want to go back to the previous commit. Okay, that means I just want to go to the previous commit, because what is my goal for now is I would like to go back to this previous state. Okay, like a commit 002, and then, okay, I would like to test something, and then I would like to create one branch from out of it. Okay, this is my goal. How can I deal that? How can I deal that? Okay, so after that, if you go back, okay, you wanna name this as some feature 003. And then you want to do some changes on the top of it. You do some changes, but again, you want to go back to the previous commit, which is nothing but your head. Okay, so first thing, I want to move my pointer, okay, which is nothing but from here to here. Okay, that is the first step. Okay, keeping the current history commit 003 and commit 004. Let me try to show you that with an example. So here, right now, I saw the last 4 commits. I wish to go back to the previous commit 003. Carefully observe, I have copied my commit ID or the commit hash. Then I copied that. Now you can see right now my changes are 005, 005, and 005. Can you see this? 005, 005, 005. Now what I'm going to do is I'll say git checkout. Git checkout is a command that helps you switching between the branches versus switching between the commits. I pasted the commit. Now I'll go back to 003. Can you see this? Now version is moved to 003, version is moved to 003. Can you see this? Okay, now what it says, it clearly says, hey boss, you are switching to this particular commit. That means your head is detached state. Okay, now if you want to go back to the previous state where your head is in the past, you can use this command git switch hyphen. So git switch hyphen is a command that moves back to the previous state. Okay, that means your head is on 005. If you want to go back to the 005, you can just use this. Done. You came back to the previous state. In interview, if they ask you, you moved your git commit head to third commit, and you went and checked, and again you want to come back to the head original position, you can use git switch. Okay, now again I want to go back to the previous state. Now it is also telling you one more commit. Okay, it tells you if you want to create a new branch, that means you have moved to the commit 003, and if you want to create a branch out of it, you can use git switch -c. Now what I'm going to do is git switch -c, okay, feature 003, done. Now check for the branch. Can you see this? You are in the feature 003 branch. That means you came back 3 commits. Okay, you went 2 commits back, and from that particular commit, you created a branch without disturbing the main branch. Now you can do whatever the changes that you want. I'm not interested about it. Now I want to go back to the previous step. Git checkout main. Now you'll go back. Now this will move your head of the main to the 005. Can you see this? You went back to the 005. Okay, this is how you can switch between the commits temporarily. That means without losing the history. Okay, without losing the history, you can switch back the commits. Right now you're on the commit 004. Okay, you want to go back to the commit 002. You went back and then you examined something, you tested something, it is working. Now you want to add further changes without disturbing the main branch. What you did, you created a branch out of it and named it as feature 003. Okay, so you created something and you went back to the previous commit. Okay, fine. Now that also means if you switch back to the main branch, your head still went back to the previous commit. That means without disturbing or without erasing anything on your branch, you went back and forth. Okay, so this is how you can move between the back and forth. This is how you can switch between the commits in your Git temporarily. But what if I'm into a situation where I do not want the changes commit 002, commit 003, or commit 004. I just want to go back to previous commit by killing all the entire history. How can you deal that? Okay, I just want to erase the entire history. How can I deal that? Okay, now my manager told me that these changes are not good. Ensure you go back to the previous stage. There are 2 steps. I can delete it manually. Okay, this is a very bad thing, and this is not how a DevOps or a cloud engineer does. Now what I want to do is I want to move my head to commit 001 by erasing all the Git history. I just want to delete the entire history. I do not want this. I want to temporarily go back to the, not temporarily, permanently go back to the previous commit. That also means I want to move my head back here. How that's possible? Okay, so let me try to show you that. There is an option called as Git reset. This is a quite dangerous option. Okay, so what it does is it is going to erase the history till here and go back to this particular hash. You have mentioned commit 001. All the history after that will be deleted and moves you back to the previous state. Okay, so for example, again, this time I would like to go back to 002. Git log -n4, which is going to show you the last 4 commits. Okay, and if you want to see, I'm repeating, if you want to see what are the changes that were made by it, you can use git log -n. Okay, that means it is also going to show you what are the changes that were made by it. Okay, so git log -n, you need to use -p. Yeah, so it also shows you what are the changes that were made. Okay, along with the changes, just like how the changes are shown on the top of the GitHub. Now I'm interested about moving back to 002. Okay, right now you're on. Okay, right now you're on 005, 005, 005. Right now I want to go back to this particular state, which is nothing but 002. Copy this. Okay, now I want to go back to the previous state. Remember this point, you lose your history. Okay, you're on the main branch. Okay, now what I'm doing is git reset -hard hash. Now what exactly is it going to do? I'm repeating one more time, your head here. Okay, I'm repeating one more time, your head here will go back to the previous state. Okay, so here right now your head is here. Now git reset -hard is going to move the head back to this particular state by erasing the entire history. Whatever the history that you see here will be completely deleted. Okay, that also means erasing a history means it is also removing the changes permanently. No one does to know that there's something happened here. Okay, so whenever you want to eradicate something permanently, then you use the git reset -hard option. Okay, So whenever you are making multiple changes, multiple files you're updating with a single commit, it is going to be very important thing. If not, it is going to take you 2 hours, 3 hours of time. Still, you won't be able to figure out what are the changes that you made. Okay, this is a very nice option. So the command that I'm using is git reset hyphen hard. This is the commit hash. Okay, so the moment you hit the commit hash, what happens is it go back to the previous version by erasing all the history till date. Okay, so let me try to run that. Now the expectation is it should be updated to 002. Okay, it should be updated to 002, and this value should also be updated to 002. Let's see. Now can you see this? Git reset hyphen hard. The command is reset. Now can you see this? Head is now on this particular commit, which is nothing but the first 8 characters, updating the value to 002. Can you see this? 002, 002, 002. Now if you go back and see the git log history, you see only the first 2 commits, or the commits still 002 only. Can you see this? So this is the initial commit, and 001 and 002. So the changes, commit 003, commit 004, commit 005, everything are deleted. So git reset hyphen hard is a very dangerous option. But whenever you land into a situation where you want to go back to the previous state completely by erasing the current history, you are going to use this. All right, this is a very important thing that we are going to, as a DevOps and cloud engineer, that you are going to use often. Okay, and this is going to save you a lot of time. All right, so this is how we can make use of it. So how can you go back to the previous state? By eliminating the history completely, okay, is something we are going to use by using git reset hyphen hard. So to summarize today's session, what we learned is how to see the previous history, git log, and how to see only the few commits, like 3 commits or 5 commits. This is the option hyphen and 3. And how can you see the last 3 commits along with the changes? We are going to do hyphen stat hyphen p. So git checkout hash, that means this helps you moving between the commits temporarily. And if you want to switch back your commit history to the commit back to the head, you can use git switch ISN. That takes you back to the head original position. And if you want to reset, and if you want to permanently move back to a particular commit by deleting the commit history after that particular commit hash, you can use git reset hyphen hard. And git reset hyphen hard is permanently going to delete all your changes, and it's going to delete your history as well. Okay, so these are the things that we have learned, and the next session is going to be very interesting: git fetch versus git pull. Okay, so if you like the content, please hit a like button to the video and subscribe to the channel. And the next session will be on git reset versus git pull. And if you like that video, please, I would expect 10 comments saying that I am interested to know what is the difference between git reset versus git fetch versus git pull with a real-time example. That's for today. Please hit a like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Signing off for the day.